Hello again, operators. It's been a while since we've had a proper video, so let's try to make this one a good one. The video today is going to be the start of a new series for the channel where we will be covering tactics specifically. This isn't going to be covering guides to maps or budget loadouts or anything like that. We're specifically looking at what you do in a raid to try to increase your survival chance. The reason we're doing this is because I noticed there's a distinct lack of tactics videos for Tarkov out there. I don't really know why this is. I feel like it's good information that people should know, and it should be taught. So as always, we're going to start with the fundamentals before we tackle the more advanced methods. You got to get that good base. So let's go over basic safety guidelines today. I got a few example shots from reserve. These are all on offline raids. There's no targets at this time. This is just purely for example. Just need to put that disclaimer out there. And the reason we're doing this is because I need to show you guys how to properly go about making your movements throughout the map that you choose to go through, because you got to keep track of visual, sound, timing, weather, possible weapon engagement distances. All of that stuff can lead to sensory overload and you freeze. So we're going to try to reduce a lot of that to some very basic methods you can use in your own raids. So let's begin. So here we go. This is what it's going to look like. We got a lot of grayscale here. This will typically make you harder to spot unless you're moving left to right or horizontally across someone's field of vision. But we're not going to go into that today. Just want to kind of point that out there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to show you a few examples of a bad way to move across an area and then a better way to move across the area. There's never a one-to-one answer for everything, but you can kind of think of this as one of the tools that you can use and another way to think about approaching different areas in the game. And with Reserve, we got a large variety of things. So let's go ahead and come down to the first area. So as we're coming down here, we've got a building on the left, and we got a building towards our front. Each of these has several floors, several windows, a roof that people can possibly be on. Now, typically I've seen a lot of people that they'll come down this area in particular and they follow this footpath right here. This is a very common thing that people do. I don't recommend doing this because footpaths and roads in general, they're kind of like funnels that people tend to follow just naturally by instinct. And they get a lot of people killed. You can see while I'm walking here, I'm not really looking around too much. I'm just kind of casually strolling down here. This is how I see a lot of players approach areas like this. So I would recommend not doing that. We're going to come back. I'm going to show you a better way to do this. Alright, so come back here. There's the two buildings again. What we're going to do is we're going to sprint, get a little bit of speed, but we're going to cover first. Now the cover's not ideal. I try to kind of walk across it a bit. It doesn't work out for me. Don't be worried about that too much. As long as you got the concept in mind, that's all you need. So then I go from the cover to the concealment, which is these bushes. And you notice that I'm going from bush to bush, and then I check around a little bit. The bushes won't stop a bullet, but it makes it a little harder to see me, and therefore a little harder to get accurate shots. And I'm using this big rock now as a good point of cover. I'm going to pie the corners as I go a bit, try to get as much cleared before I actually take off running as I can. But once I get running, I need to commit, right? So I'm using that tree right there to kind of take another little peek, come over here, and I just go prone. Now, a lot of people don't go prone, and I'm not quite sure why. I have another example of using prone. Prone is really good because it lowers your profile. You move a lot slower, but you're also incredibly harder to see unless they got a thermal or they're up in a really high place. And the rest of this, I'm just doing the same thing all the way down along this wall, so we're going to cut it here. You get the basic idea, but basically what you want to do is just don't use a road if you can help it, or a trail. And if you do have to do it, try to go from one point to another and try to break it up a bit. Alright, we're rapid fire, just going on into the next one. So what I've got here, this is a common place that you spawn on Reserve. Now you notice I have a handgun and I've got an SVD. The SVD is actually very useful for glassing areas. I'll explain what that is in a bit. So you see I've got two possible areas that I could run to, but then I choose a third option that a lot of people tend to do that I don't always recommend. See that building up ahead? The one we're looking at right now? Right here. Yeah, sorry. I'm recording the audio after, but notice how we're just sprinting straight to it. I see people do this all the time. This is a very poor choice. And you can see why. I'm running on roads, I'm going in a straight line, I'm not looking around, I'm not really checking my surroundings. I run straight into this bush, that's gonna slow me down. That's the perfect place to shoot me. And I keep sprinting, and then look at my stamina bar here. As soon as I get to the building, I'm gonna slide in. Now I got no stamina. How am I supposed to aim accurately? Can't do it, man. You can't do it. Let me show you a better way to do this. So here we are. We got the same approach, same kit. Nothing's really changed. We still want to go to the same location, but notice that instead of just running in a straight line, we're kind of checking around us. We go from sprinting to walking. Same concept. Hitting the concealment. Gonna check around us a little bit. We haven't been shot at yet, so we're fairly certain that no one's gonna be seeing us, right? So you just kind of look around a bit, and then you go over here. There's a little rock here. Doesn't give us a lot of cover, but if we need to, we can lay down behind it to at least soak up a few bullets. Go to the next spot again. Now there's going to be a very key difference as well here. Notice that we're conserving our stamina as we're coming up. That's very important because you need stamina to be able to aim accurately. So here, I switched to my handgun. There's two reasons for this. The first reason is that we're going to be moving faster with the handgun out. So that's a bonus. We're going to get inside faster, stay out of the open. But also because we're in a more CQB area, my DMR, the SVD, is not ideal for this location. So you can see as soon as I come in, I can immediately start pieing corners, going into hallways, and clearing out the building. So having a handgun as a backup is extremely important. Extremely important. And there's a number of reasons for this. I'm going to show you an example of one in the next example. But it's also going to show you how to not approach clearing out a hallway. Alright, go ahead and take a look at this. How about that? Just walked straight into a building, went right for the weapon case, didn't even look around or check to see if anyone possibly was here or still is here. This is the kind of stuff that makes you susceptible to a rat attack. Now, as awful as it is when I say it, there's a lot of people that still do this. Mostly they're new players that aren't used to looking around for people that could possibly be here, even if they're not always here. So let's dial it back. I'm going to show you a better way to approach this kind of area so that you can know what kind of things you need to think about when you're entering a hallway. Alright, let's walk through this one. The first thing that we do, we're going to holster our DMR, get our handgun out. We're going to take a look at all these open doorways. We want to kind of clear them as we go. We're just kind of taking a peek, making sure no one's hiding in a corner, just kind of waiting for us. These doors that are closed are less of a priority. We can actually skip those, because in order for someone to do something, they need to open the door first, and you guarantee that we're going to hear that. Then over here we got a stairwell. We didn't see that last time because we went too fast. So we're just kind of checking around. We make a little bit of noise here, but that's okay. We're going to walk over here. We notice there's an open doorway, so we're just going to check it. We're going to close it to kind of slow people down. Now we're actually good to move. Alright, so far, a lot of the concepts that we've talked about kind of overlap each other. You want to move from cover to cover when you're outside. You want to do the same thing when you're inside for the most part. When you're going down a hallway, instead of just going straight and heading down the hallway, you want to slow it down, go from point to point. In this case, it was doorway to doorway. You want to take a look at everything. You want to make sure that there's nothing that's going to kill you in those doorways. You could even shut the doors if you really wanted to. I tend to leave them because I don't want people to know I'm there. I like it to look like the default settings so that people have a chance of just running in on me. But you get the concept here. You want to just kind of slow it down a bit. It adds on maybe a few more seconds, but that few seconds will actually increase the chance that you survive the raid. So we've gone over that. Now let's go over one more really quick example that you might see and that you might be able to apply for yourselves, especially in reserve. So here's the example. We need to run from here to the train yard up ahead of us. A lot of people tend to just go straight for it, as I'm about to show you here. Now there's a number of reasons that this is a bad idea. For one, we're running in a straight line. Someone's going to be able to line up a shot on us and take us out really quickly, if they see us running here. We're focusing almost exclusively on speed, and we're completely sacrificing our safety. No one wants to do that. This is what gets you shot from angles that you can't see. It makes you think that people are hacking. So let's go back and let's look at 2 different ways we could approach this. Alright, back at the start. Let's say that you absolutely have to get there as quick as possible. Well, first, let's pull out our handgun so we can move a little bit faster. Now notice that we're not going in a straight line, we're actually dipping down into lower parts of the map. This is going to reduce our silhouette. We're also kind of serpentining a little bit. This is going to slow us down a little bit, but it makes us much harder to predict and hit. Now that I got a little bit of cover, I'm slowing down, gaining a little bit more stamina. I tried to make this jump and fail it, but we quickly correct it. And boom, we're in. Now, the only time I really recommend moving that fast, even with that level of thought behind your safety, is if you absolutely need to get out of here, right? You're in a huge hurry, your exit's about to go down, maybe you're injured, you need to get out before you die. That's the only way that I would do that. Let me show you the way that I typically approach this when I'm playing alone. Alright, here we go. So from here, I'm looking around. I am kind of trying to identify the best way for me to take this. I haven't done this before, so this is a new thing to me. We're kind of coming up with this on the fly here. So I kind of move down here. I'm staying in some concealment, trying to hide. Looking around, I see some cover up ahead. Now, I take a very unique approach to this. I'm looking around. Haven't been shot at yet, so probably no one sees me. And I crawl towards it. This is something not a lot of people do. I'm fairly confident that there's not a sniper up in the guard tower to my right. And I'm trying to just hide myself and get to this piece of cover out here in the open. This is also going to preserve my stamina so I can make the run to the more necessary area up ahead. So I'm going to come up here. Now I'm going to stand up. I didn't want to stand up, I just wanted to crouch. Looking around a little bit. Haven't been shot at yet. Now recall, this is offline, so I'm not going to be shot at, but we're treating it like it's a real raid. So I dip down into this area. This is a good place to wait. If someone tries to chuck a grenade in here, we just need to run out of it. Just kind of looking around, trying to get an idea, so then we run to the next piece of cover. So you can see, it's a little slower, and it took a little bit of a different route, but it actually covers us from most of the buildings that we would probably get shot from. We're just kind of clearing as we go, still trying to make it somewhat quick, and then we hit our destination. Nice and easy. Alright, one more topic to discuss here. This is less about your safety during the raid, and this is more for when you're trying to get out of the raid. So here, we're going to be approaching the hermetic door. We're assuming that it's already been popped, the alarm's just blaring. We're just trying to get out. Watch how we approach it. Do you ever get sick of being exit camped? Because I guarantee if this is the way that you exit, you're the reason that you're getting exit camped. Now, let me show you a couple of the different areas that someone that is exit camping could potentially drop you from. So over here, we got the exact same approach that we just ran down. When you're looking over here, see where I'm pointing? Each of these spots are somewhere that an exit camper could potentially hit you, even that garage down below. As we come up here, I'm going to kind of show you some examples. There's this doorway right here, and this doorway back here as well that people will hide in and wait for you to come straight in. And if you're just rushing in, you're never going to see it coming. So you can see right here, you get a good sight line of the walkway that comes in. Pretty much everywhere that you go here. I'm kind of testing out some ones that I haven't tried myself, but I've seen people do. There's all kinds of different angles that someone could take you from. We'll just kind of walk around here, give you a couple more angles. Then we're going to show you how to actually avoid most of these angles and have a safer approach in. Alright, now, straight to the alternate approach. The first thing that you want to do is realize that this exit that we want has another way in, which is actually this way. Now we're switching to our handgun again, because we want it for the tighter quarters area. If we were confident in our point firing, you could still use the SVD, but the shrimp that we're using has a higher magazine capacity. Now as we're moving through, we're still kind of holding to our safety principles, but for the sake of time, we're just kind of breezing through it, not taking it too slow. And then we're going to get over towards the hermetic door itself. Now, first thing I'm going to show you, there's the 2 doorways you remember, right? Now here, you can't actually go through this doorway itself. It's not an option, so you have to come over this way. So you just come over, you're just going to pie it, you're going to be listening too, I guarantee if someone's waiting, they're going to shuffle around a bit, they're going to get impatient, going to hear someone aim, there's going to be some sort of indication that they're there. Most people aren't patient enough to hold still. So you just do a little stutter peek every now and then, kind of look around, then you would go for the exit like this. This is how you actually safely approach exits and prevent exit camping. And there you go, just a basic, very basic, I might add, way of approaching your raids in a safer way. Just a couple things to consider as you're going through. Just make sure you're keeping it all in mind. Take it piece by piece, practice on one thing at a time, you know, focus on your movement for the most part. That's what gets a lot of people killed before they're even aware of what's happening. Make sure that you keep all these things in mind. We'll go into more advanced details at a later date. Hope that this really helped you guys out. Be sure to like the video if it did help you out. Let me know if you want more like this. Let me know what you liked and disliked. And I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe in Tarkov, guys.